Hello and welcome back to episode 26 of the Try Time podcast. I'm Matt,
And I'm Callum.
and this week we are going to touch over Super League Round 2 and Championship Round 1, all the fallout from the first games, and look ahead to the Challenge Cup next weekend. Now, at the time of recording, we are due the England squad tomorrow, so by the time you're watching this will have been released, but we don't know what's coming up yet. No doubt there'll be some controversy in there always is, and we will touch on our thoughts on that on Saturday's video, so make sure to stick around for that one. Last Saturday we did a discussion video around who's the best finisher in Super League, be sure to check that out, link in the card at the top of the screen, and as always, the usual stuff, check out our socials, Twitter especially, we're making the big push with to get more involved in the discussion, and of course, subscribe, turn the red button grey. Why not? You've bothered to come and watch us. Save yourself some hassle next time. Press the button and we're in your box straight away. Sorted. Made your life easier. Right. Yeah. I think that's enough of an intro. Round 1, 2, whatever it is. Mossy Masai's round 2 results.
Right, so on Thursday we had our started off with a tasty doubleheader. Started off with Wigan versus Wakey, which was always an interesting one going into it. Wigan ended up coming out victorious, 34 points to 6 against Wakefield, making their record 2 wins, 0 losses, and Wakefield's 0 wins, 2 losses. Thoughts?
Yeah, this is pretty run-of-the-mill. Don't really have much to add on that, but other than Wigan are seriously stocked for talent once they get French and Field back. That's quite a nice problem for Mr. Lamb to have, although I do question whether or not they will all be there next season as a direct result of this.
Yeah, I mean, there's already talk about, Hastings going and stuff.
Well, there's been talk of Hastings going for about 2 years, and every few weeks I just see him on Twitter calling him out for being bullshit, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Who knows?
Wakey, again, I think, got blown away in the second half. It was close first half, and they don't look terrible, they just look incapable of being that top defensive side, and I think that is due to the personnel, not necessarily Chris Chester's coaching. I think once this Wigan side clicked in, I mean, Hardacre and Bibby was unreal in this game. You've got to give it to them, they were class and they really got them going. I mean, Bibby, 5 tries in 2 games, already a front runner for Golden Boot this year for tries.
Well, never mind that, we've got an England squad released tomorrow. Surely you've got to be thinking his name's in the question if we're doing this based on early season form.
Oh, yeah, if you're basing it off 2 games, then yeah, definitely. And it's not like he's been bad over previous years. I think he has just been one of them that in that Wigan team has been kind of overshadowed due to just the absolute abundance of talent that they actually do have.
Yeah, there's a conversation about whether or not this is the right time to pick an England squad after 2 games when the match isn't until June in a few days after we are hopefully back at sporting events. So that's one in itself, and we'll discuss that a bit on Saturday, so be sure to stick around for that one like I said earlier. And without further ado, we move on to Saints and Hull KR?
Yeah, so Saints Hull KR, interesting game. Within the first 10 minutes, honestly thought Saints were going to run away with it. Eventually they kind of did. 25 points to 0 against Hull KR, they actually nilled them. But early on, like I say, 2 early tries for Saints, and it looked like it was going to be a long night when Saints are grooving like that, especially on the home ground. But
that wasn't their home ground.
Well, it was the home ground, but there wasn't at home. But
it's like last week. It's you're the away team at home, but
yeah. But I think Hull KR have got to take a lot from this. The fact that they fought back and in big periods defended really well. Obviously, they had like the sin bin and stuff like that, which I think were fair. I saw Hicks getting a lot of sort of hate online. I didn't really agree with it. I thought at the end of the day,
I mean, unless it's for the beard.
Yeah.
If it's for the beard, I can see where the hate's coming from, because he did look at...
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe it. He looked like one of these weird cartoon animal things.
Fair enough. But I think Hull KR was keeping them out by holding on that extra couple of seconds in tackles, and it was getting repetitive penalties and stuff, and it was always coming. Do you know what I mean? And I think then Saints at the end, obviously, it looks like they ran away with it, which I guess they did. Hull KR never really looked like scoring, which is really sort of, just shows how good Saints actually are defensively as well as on the other end, and how scary they are and how realistically, can you see anyone getting there ahead of them in terms of grand final win? Are they going to do their 3 years on a row?
No. I think
I'm assuming you've got Wigan there. Yeah, Wigan there to do it. Maybe. I do think we'll have a repeat of last year's grand final, and that's based off what we've.
Well, we do know it's Warrington's year, so they might have something to say about that. Interestingly, still no word on their head coach.
No, that is.
I thought we'd have had something soon, but
yeah. Although,
when we do, we will bring a video on that one to you as well. But yeah. If you haven't checked out our candidates who we think might be right for the role, card in the top right, go check that one out as well after this. But yeah, who knows? Watch, we'll say this now, and it'll be literally out in like the next week.
That's what I'm going to say. I would put my money on the fact that is going to be released before this video. This is going out Wednesday. We're recording this Monday night, like we've said. So
if this comes out like tomorrow or Wednesday morning, we are officially psychic.
Yeah, but like we say, we'll get a video to that. So moving away from Thursday night onto Good Friday afternoon games. So first up, Warrington against Leigh, which always, a tasty one. Leigh played well round one. Can they cause an upset?
You've missed a big point, by the way, from the last game.
Go on.
Minchella's out for the season. What a blow for Hull KR. Get him out your fantasy team now if you have got him, by the way.
Yeah, that is big blow. I am a big admirer of Elliot Minchella, and I think he has been one of the better players for Hull KR in the opening.
We know that. You admired anyone that's rocked up at Bradford.
No, I'm just mean like it's a player that I like.
He's not in your ex-Bradford team, is he?
He will. He is. Yeah, I'll get him transferred out. That's fine.
Anyway, I will let you go back to the Warrington Leigh game. Pretty run-of-the-mill win for Warrington. They look a lot better than last week.
Yeah, 44 points to 12. Looked very, very strong. Played some exhilarating rugby as well. And Leigh, to be fair, they just couldn't keep up. And I think people expected this to be the case with Leigh in a lot of the games this season. When they get a team like Warrington who've got the top players, when they click, they're unstoppable at the best of times. So I do genuinely think it's not curtains for Leigh. It's not wooden spoon pending, because there's other teams like Hull KR, Salford, Wakey who have all lost but the opening 2 games. So it's not all doom and gloom for Leigh. As I think
Leigh have arguably come closer to picking up points than some of those other teams as well. But
yeah, only arguably Hull KR have come close. Obviously, they took Catalan to Golden Point round 1. But yeah, definitely that's what I think Leigh actually in parts played well, and as well as they probably could have done, if you know what I mean. But that's fair. Other than that,
on to Friday afternoon, do you think?
Yeah,
and Leeds 10, Castleford 18. Castleford looking pretty good this season. I mean, yeah, I always talk a bit more about this when it comes to Leeds matches, and I'm going to try not to this time. But I think it was pretty close. I mean, Cass won that in the last 10 minutes. It's a difficult one. We've got a Leeds team where the back 7 playing that night were, only 2 of them getting the team if everyone's fit, and that being Gale and Briscoe. Take your pick, whichever one.
Yeah.
But I would just like to say on this one, whoever this minority of fans are that have been giving hate and stick to Corey Hall, a teenager who's literally, I could count the appearances he's made for the club on one hand, coming in the middle of an injury crisis. Hang your head in shame and don't ever come back to Headingley, because if we find out who you are, we'll throw you off a terrace ourselves.
Yeah, I know. I was seeing stuff about that, and it is awful, because I watched the game closely, and I did watch him. I was interested to see how he fared, because you get a lot with Castor, a physical side. Do you know what I mean? They're going to run out wide at you, as well as they did. Obviously, Oliver Holmes scoring the try, which was what Corey Hall was ultimately scrutinised for, was that it was a bit of a missed tackle. But I'm not going to lie, you could see anyone in Super League miss a tackle like that.
I mean, I know the comparison's going to be, and it's going to be. I mean, by all means, play the clip here, but Luke Gale telling Mr. Broadbent in the shower that he's not going to see anyone harder in the league than Bill Topu. We've already seen that one being memed around and shared on Twitter. If you haven't, I'm sure Callum will have put it in probably over me talking.
Yeah.
But not every young lad's going to come and have a cracking game when he's barely played in the team. And in the team that, like I say, that's got 2 out of 7 backs fit, this is not the time to be having a go at somebody. You know, Corey, if you do end up seeing this, we don't advocate this. You are better than this. You know, he's not had the game time that Alex Sutcliffe has had. It's not fair to make that comparison.
Oh yeah, definitely, and I think it's one of them where he probably is ready for a dual reg or loan move down to Championship.
I think once Newman and Conrad come back, then I think we may well see him go to the Championship for a bit. But obviously right now we're not in a position where that's viable, not whilst we need Jack Broadbent at fullback, because now Richie Myler's injured as well.
Yeah,
I mean, take nothing away from Castleford here. I think the better side won on the day. Leeds lacked creativity throughout the halves, and not for the first game this season. I think once everyone's back, Liam Sutcliffe is nowhere near the starting number 6, because he looks a lot more comfortable at centre, or even, to be honest, even in the second row or full back. The last place I'd put him is number 6. But you know, we've got a crisis. Unless you swap him and Broadbent, who again is far more suited to being a centre than a 6, you're going to have somebody out of position at the moment.
Yeah, that's the thing with your crisis at the back there, and I think going on from Leeds' backs to one particular Castleford back, who I think, you know, are Castleford going to go back-to-back Man of Steel winners? Jake Truman, unreal in the first 2 rounds. This game against Leeds, he absolutely ran the show, unreal. Say how young he is, unreal.
Yeah, definitely. Look, definitely got a bright future ahead of him. Should almost certainly be part of the England setup, and if not, then that will be one of the contentious points that we certainly want to discuss.
Yeah, definitely. He's a bit deep class.
Ready to move on to Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday's last 2 games. So, Salford versus Hull FC. Interesting one.
My Hull FC, standout surprise of the season so far. I did not expect this. I mean, I know this is Hull every season. They'll play half the year in looking like they could get top 4, and half of it like they've come up from League 1. But what a start this is. If they can keep this up, they are definitely in the running. But that will be the big challenge with Hull, as we have seen many years in the past.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing with this team is, you know, Connor's doing great at fullback, Sneed's doing what Sneed does, and then Reynolds in, and, you know, I think if I want to compare Reynolds to 2 Aussie imports who've come in the last couple of years in Caesar and Maloney, and them 2 players came over, and you don't see them scoring all the tries, the fancy stuff. They do the organising, the kicking game, that sort of thing of it, which is so good and helpful to them teams. But what we're finding with Reynolds is, you know, they've got Sneed for that. Reynolds is the X factor. Do you know what I mean? He's exactly what
Reynolds for me is the Blake Austin, the Chris Sandow.
Yeah, that sort
mould of player that's got that bit more of creativity in him as well. Although I would say Bevan French, but ultimately Bevan French is a winger, so I can't really include him in this.
Oh god. But yeah, it's looking really good for FC, and the pack's working well as well. You know, we're talking about all these backs and they'll take on the glory, but I think, you know, that big pack they've got going at the minute, it's mobile, it's big, it makes the yards, and, you know, it's got to be up there with, in the first 2 rounds, some of the best packs in the league, really. I think it's been quality and underrated as well.
Definitely.
Houghton's still
Talk to me about Salford though, because they are looking a bit more ropey at the start of this season compared to what some might have expected.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of things saying, you know, is Marshall preparing them for Championship by it seems of it, where he's more comfortable. That's obviously all jokey stuff, but they are in danger if they don't pick up some of these you know what I mean? St Helens, we said, fair enough, we don't really know what to expect from Salford because it's Saints. Then Hull FC, and it's a game that sort of you predicted them to beat Hull FC. Hull FC was unreal in this game, really, and
Salford didn't even really get the basics right, which is kind of the one thing you always envisage this current Salford team to do.
Yeah.
And I think that really didn't. Hull didn't need to get out of second gear really to cruise to a win here. They had little moments of class, and that was enough to get them well and truly over the line.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say Salford preparing for the Championship now, because, well, we'll touch on this in the next game, because one of the key drivers behind their success is still very much on fraud watch.
Yeah, I think Salford need a bit of consistency, not just with results, but also with the team they're putting out. They definitely don't know the best. Marshall doesn't know his best team. There's players out injured in different positions. The pack looks a bit all over the place. There's work to be done. Not that it can't be done, but it's all going to be about moments in the season. If they can pick up form, then they should be okay. But we never know.
Yeah. Well, going on to what I was saying about one man being on fraud watch, it's Ian Watson after his Huddersfield side finished off the week with another defeat, 20 points to 10, at Catalan, who are seemingly travelling quite well at the moment.
Yeah.
Sam Tompkins, could he well be the man of steel and not Jake Truman, because what a season he is having.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to look at. I called it at the start of the season. I think it might have even been on the fantasy video. Like, Sam Tompkins is a must-have just because of how good he's been over these last couple of years, and I feel like people are starting to notice how important he is to this Catalan side. Him and Maloney's pulling the strings and that sort of thing. You got Tompkins. It's a good squad. You know, even
it is, but even when Maloney was in the bin, this was not a side that lacked direction. Josh Drinkwater is perfectly capable of orchestrating this side on his own. There's no reliance there on Maloney.
Yeah, and the thing with Tompkins is he almost acts as that extra halfback, doesn't he? And he's got the running game and the passing game. And then, you know, I mean, one thing that I'd want to highlight as well for Catalans is, you know, you look at the back row, and you know, you got Mike McMeekan and Matt Whitley, and they are two English, solid second rows. And I think it's underrated. Some people sometimes think, oh, well, these Catalans are just chucking these French players on. You know, that's not the case.
They're not even French anymore, either. They're all Aussies, this one says now.
Exactly.
But you've got a core contingent that had fantastic games that you said of Whitley, McMeekan. Benjamin Garcia was fantastic.
Yeah.
And like you say, you've got more, you know, Tompkins, Davies out there.
Yeah, Davies.
They are not.
Again, quality winger as well. One of them that just goes under the radar.
I mean, I'll tell you what, he's far better than the Everton midfielder with his name, isn't he? Better hair as well. We might be on the wrong spot, but Everton Tom Davies, you're on trim watch.
But yeah, in terms of Huddersfield, again, Caesar's out. Screw my fantasy team up. Again, they told me he was going to be back. He wasn't back. Pissed me off. So he's out, and it looks like he's going to be out for a few weeks, and I can't see Huddersfield picking up many wins within them weeks, because I think he is the best player, to put it bluntly. I think they've got a good team,
I think that's Super League pretty much summarised. Shall we very quickly go over the Championship, given you previewed it?
Actually, looking at some of the results, I don't know if I want to speak about these, but no, go on. We'll go over them.
Right, well, we won't go into these too much. I think key talking points, really. We'll start on the Friday, I think it was.
Yeah.
London. Big loss to the newly rebranded Panthers. And not one I think... I don't know whether or not people saw this coming. London's still far from a full-strength squad, but... surely we expected a closer game than this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that London, like we said, I think this is very much what I feel like we both said in our predictions, how London have not got the squad they had a couple of years ago now, and they've got some great young local talent coming through, and that's great, and they're going to be bleeding them in. And I don't think they're going to be right up in the top three, London, this year. I think they will get playoffs, but a game like this probably could have been predicted, really, because Halifax, you know, they wanted to put a stamp down. You know, they got knocked out at Cup disappointingly.
Yeah, but 47 points.
Yeah, but I mean,
considering how this London team defended against a York side that many expect to be right in competition for promotion, to then go and concede nearly 50 to Halifax, who, as you said, had a frankly extremely disappointing cup campaign.
Yeah, It's an interesting one, and yeah, I don't think the result's shocking, but I guess I know what you mean. The manner of result is, but
Yeah.
I think some credit's got to go to Halifax, and it's a great start for them. They'll have been looking at London first up. That's a tough game, but they've gone there. They've done the job. They've absolutely done the job over London. Fair play to Halifax. Let's see how they get on in coming weeks now in the league, and see if they can kick on from this result.
Absolutely.
But
touching on other teams that got off to a good start, unless you had anything to add there.
No, we're going to move on to the next one, mate. I'll let you go.
Yeah. Featherstone, they managed to do a double on Batley. Again, quite close. I don't think there's too much to say on this one, so I think we'll probably as well worth touching on the third result that day. Oldham got their revenge on Swinton. I predicted this one. You were loyal to the Caravans.
Yeah, this is a big result, Oldham, who we both tipped to be going down, and they've picked up a result over Swinton, who, could well be dragged into that race. And, I mean, Swinton maybe have one eye on Challenge Cup coming this weekend, but, again, I imagine this game was very similar to the first game in the Cup the week before, where it's just either team could win it. Two tough, proper, old-school rugby league sides going at it, and what more do you want, really? So, fair play to both sides. Good job, all.
A 5-night stay in a Glossop caravan, perhaps?
Oh, God. Right, Saturday's games. So, maybe not as many shocks on this one, potentially. Dewsbury versus Whitehaven. Dewsbury getting their revenge as well from round 1 of the Cup, beating Whitehaven 17 points to 8. Greg did play in this one, as we
Poor
said.
Greg. Yeah, I mean, this is a good result for Dewsbury. Let's not take anything away. Another team that we thought would be in and around the mire of relegation.
Yeah, this is a big
Actually, this could be a very valuable 2 points for them come the end of the season. And speaking of valuable 2 points, Toulouse coming to York and putting that performance on.
Yeah.
If they travel like that all season, they are going to be very, very difficult to stop. Because that's one of their biggest games of the year done. There's only really that you think off the top of the head, Featherstone that have probably got the talent at home if Toulouse do have a bad night's sleep or whatever with the travel.
Yeah. I mean, there's always the case of Toulouse travelling that any team could beat them, but I guess what you're saying, if they're circling the hardest games would be York and Feather away.
Yeah,
but
on paper, they should be their biggest games, and they've dispatched of York like they've dispatched of West Wales 2019 side.
Yeah, I mean, you got to say, just fair play to Toulouse. I don't think York will be knocking themselves too much.
No, definitely not.
They'll look to sort of bounce back in the cup next week, I'm sure, against Wigan, which we'll get on to later.
Let's discuss bounce backs, because I'm very much looking forward to dragging out Sundays. First of all, by the way, Widnes Newcastle, what a cracker. I'd love Golden Point to be in the Championship just to actually get a winner from this, but
yeah,
Widnes have got to be disappointed with that. They threw that game away.
Oh yeah, definitely. But that just shows that the fight in the Championship and what these games.
Fight from Thunder.
Yeah,
that was impressive to say that they are a new team.
I think it shows their intent and they're staying in this division. They're laying down their marker. Widnes, a team that you'd expect to roll them over, be close but roll them over. And Newcastle have fought back in it and shown their pedigree as a Championship team, which is really good to see with a young sort of core squad that they've got there as well. It is good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, on to my favourite result of the round. Sheffield, top scorers in terms of points. They pulled off half a century, top of the league, and they just so happened to beat Bradford along the way. Care to tell us more?
Right, so first of all, I have had my email today with my refund for my stream, as essentially sat on the sofa 15 minutes before kick-off. The stream usually comes on now, why is it not on? Looking on Facebook, all Bulls fans are going apeshit about it, it's not coming on. 5 minutes before kick-off, it's still not on. Kick-off time, they've put on Twitter.
Well, they've done you a favour here. All Sheffield fans should be ones complaining.
Yeah, on Bradford have put out, the game's underway, stream's not on. Sheffield essentially ballsed up the stream, the RFL went on Twitter and absolutely berated Sheffield, said it's all on them. And, fair enough, I guess, if RFL are putting this service there, they're allowing Sheffield to stream the games and they've messed it up on there, and that's fine. We don't know the ins and outs, but essentially we didn't
Is it professional to call out one of your clubs like that, though?
No, but also, it's... I get it, I get both sides of the argument, but at the end of the day, as a fan, a lot of people were just absolutely saying, oh, RFL's this, and people are like... But at the end of the day, if the RFL have put this out there and Sheffield can't get it up, then, it's 50-50 each way blame-wise, isn't it?
It is, because equally, they could just get a proper TV deal for Championship and League One and not have to worry about this problem.
Yeah,
It's a self-inflicted issue.
Well,
but if you want to know our thoughts on the Our League app, we did discuss that a couple of weeks ago as the middle section of the podcast. Go check that out. You can skip the preview to a match that's already happened if you really want. We won't be offended.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of 50-50, I did get to watch the second half. That's when the stream came up. So, I mean, it's alright.
Or did you wish you hadn't bothered?
Well, I mean, second half...
Also, great pun there, speaking of 50-50. I really did like that one. You're making your own jokes now.
I thought, we were 28-0 down at half time, and I thought, it can't get much worse than this.
It did.
Wait, 28-0.
It got worse.
Yeah, 28-0. So I thought, you know what? Score first. We might not win the game. Let's not let them score again. Let's make it, a 28-18 game. No one's really clowning Bradford. So they score first.
Spoiler,
in the second
they
half.
scored again.
Yeah, and then, so it's 34-0.
And again.
Yeah, they kept scoring and it was just appalling at the end. But there was a period where we scored 2 tries in 2 minutes. We scored a try, then scored from the kickoff, and we was at the point where we needed like 4 tries in 25 minutes. And I thought, there's an era of Bradford team where I've seen us pull this sort of comeback off. It'd be amazing, but I'm kind of thinking, all right, I'm off my seat now. I'm gonna watch this, and then literally Danny Brough throws an interception, and Thackeray's gone full length at field.
Unfortunately. Danny Brough and Jordan Lilly are not Paul Deacon and Robbie Paul.
Yeah, well, we haven't even got that. I mean, the problem is, I'm not to give excuses.
I've picked them based on your numbers, not who we're playing.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying I'm not making excuses, but we're missing Lilly through ban, Flanagan through ban. Flanagan's out for most of the season with his ball grabbing ban, but that's another separate story, right?
Have you still got your other ball grabber on wing?
Oh, Johnson, no, he got released.
Nancy Johnson.
No, he got released. Right, so, and then you've got like Sam Hallis. Anthony England announced that he's retired through injury, which is really sad as well, I'll mention. He was a big player for us at middle at Park. Hallis injured, Matty Dawson-Jones injured. There's injuries there, but that's not an excuse because I was saying this at the time. Any of these players in that Bradford team, it's not like there was only one player who you'd say would not be in there, and that was Jowett, who was probably the best Bradford player on pitch. In terms of the young players, any of these other players, yeah, there might have been an extra winger on there to cover full back and just cover positions, but at any point in the season they would be expected to step up and do a good job. It's not like we shoehorned in a few young lads, do you know what I mean? The players who are quality squad players, they may not be starters, but they're at least rotation players who should be doing better. Poor result. I mean, people are calling for KZ. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but we'll have to see.
Shall we save you the heartache and move on?
Yeah, we should, because I'm not going to be predicting a Bulls game because we are out of the cup anyway,
right,
so
well,
we've got a week off.
Whilst Bradford are bottom of the league, Sheffield are top. Who's top of fantasy? Bear in mind, last time we did this, the league updated about 2 minutes after we said this, so by the time you see this, it might well be someone different. But at present, who's top?
Yeah, they really need to sort out this fantasy. So it is Ben Webster overall who's at the top. So fair play,
well
Ben.
done, Ben.
It was up there towards the end of the season, and then I guess with our top of the league sort of thing, we've got a bit of a derby up there. Ben is a Hull KR fan. Then we've got John Bickerdike, who's actually got the top score for this week with 684, and he's
Hull
also
FC fan.
Yeah, Hull FC fan, and he's in second place overall as well. So there's a big fight up there at the top.
How's Chili Con Carne doing in relation to your teams?
Well, my mum. I'm not even speaking about this because my mum's beating me on fantasy. My fantasy's done absolute crap. Although
Am I still beating you?
My main team's actually beating my Bradford team now, which is good. I'll just double check.
Oh, good.
You actually don't have a team beating me, so I can't really complain, to be honest.
How have you got ahead of all my teams?
Because I'm good at it. I'm good at the game, mate.
To be fair, I don't even think I changed anything, which says it all really. Week 1 and I'm already bored of it.
Oh, actually, I do tell a lie. You have got one team ahead of me.
Which one?
Lee Mossop.
Oh, right, yeah, that one was the top one last time.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about us arguing fantasy. we're going to finish this one off with the Challenge Cup predictions. Conscious this is quite a long one already, but thanks for sticking around, and we will try and do these largely one word who we think is going to win. We might have to say the odd thing if we need to, but shall we crack on?
Yes, sir. First up, Hull KR versus Castleford. All Super
I find it hard to go against Cass at the moment.
Yeah, same. I'm going to agree with you on that one. Maybe a cup upset, but we'll have to see. York versus Wigan, big Championship versus Super League tie.
My heart says York, but it's got to be Wigan, hasn't it?
I'm going to say York, and you can say Wigan, just because I think it's at York at home. I can see an upset if Wigan are rotating a couple of players with that already inexperienced backline, potentially. We got to put some outlandish predictions. Go on, York.
Go on then.
Salford versus Widnes. Now, this could be a Championship upset, potentially.
Do you know, I'm going to back Salford to finally get their win under the new coach.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. I don't see an upset here, just because I think Salford are good.
That being said, I think I probably could see the upset more than you, but
maybe. Saints versus Leeds. Now, this is one you're interested in.
St Helens.
Yeah, I agree with you on
we
that.
Still haven't. We're still missing half a backline, and more than half, and St Helens are the best team in the league.
Yeah, that is true.
Maybe with only really Wigan in the conversation.
Yeah.
I don't think we beat them.
I think it'll be a good game.
I'd love to, but I don't see it. Next one.
Catalan versus Wakey.
Where's this actually being played?
I ain't got a clue, mate. I ain't done this much.
Because it's not. Because let's face it, it ain't going to be at Catalan.
I will chase it up for you, mate.
I mean, either way, I am going to say Catalan to win, and I don't think Wakefield have got Johnston because he might be one of the best finishers in Super League. Again, plug the same video from last week. But am I right in thinking he's injured again?
Yeah, well, it was a kind of a knock where it's not going to be out for the season or anything, but it will be questionable for the Challenge Cup game, which will be a huge loss. As he will.
I think potentially they rest him for the Challenge Cup game if he's not 100%. The last thing they'll want is him gone for a league campaign.
Yeah, it's actually at the Totally Wicked Stadium.
Brilliant, because that's great home ground for Catalan.
Yeah, well, we'll see, won't we? We're both backing him anyway. So then,
yeah,
another Championship versus Super League tie: Featherstone versus Hull FC, down at the Big Fellas.
Oh, I could see a cup upset here, but I think the way Hull have played in Super League, I'm going to have to back them.
Yeah, it's going to be a feisty one, but again, I do think Hull will just have that extra bit of quality.
I mean, Feather effectively one of the few teams that's had somewhat of a crowd, because I've seen plenty of big fellas up on the roofs at the back of the away end.
Yeah, that is true, actually, yeah. Right, and the last of the Championship versus Super League ties, Swinton versus Warrington. In the Caravans.
The Matty Ashton derby.
Yeah.
Warrington.
Yeah, I mean it's a pitch that if anyone can beat anyone on that pitch, it is Swinton on that. That is their pitch. They are a really good side at home, and I think they could definitely early on get Warrington.
They would have to drop a Glossop's caravan on Warrington's bus to stop Warrington winning this.
It depends how much Warrington rotate, really, but I do think it'll be hard to see an upset in this one. Right.
Yeah, anything remotely like a first team, and you'd expect this to be run of the mill, really. But
yeah, Lee versus Huddersfield, last tie of the round.
I think Lee might do this,
Yeah, I'm gonna back Lee as well. To be fair, mate,
I think Mr. Watson's not getting off our fraud watch anytime soon.
I think.
Also, by the way, guys, while you're watching these games, please tweet us at TryTime Podcast, especially with suggestions for trim watch. Who's got the worst trim of the round?
Yeah, the trim of the week.
Yeah.
Right.
The last one before Barber's open too. I mean, I'm sure we'll see plenty of dodgy ones even after that, but...
Yeah, more so potentially, yeah. With lines in air
yeah.
and all that sort of thing. Right.
Oh, God. I mean, if you've seen the video on Twitter of that guy in Scotland who's had one of them literally completely fucked his hair up then.
Right. Anyway, guys, that's our predictions for next week. Let us know yours down below. Who's going to win the Challenge Cup and who's looking strong in Super League and the Championship? And yeah, just again, like Matt said early on, support the podcast any way you can. Even if that's through the audio on Apple. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, there's a lot of loyal listeners over there that probably don't get noticed by us as much, which we apologise for. Just leave a review, any feedback, that sort of thing. Great, as always. Subscribe.
If you want to wire transfer us anything, that's also fine. We don't have a dodgy account in Thailand. It's all good.
And yeah, we'll catch you on Saturday for our England squad review. See you later.
Yep, and I will no doubt be crying into my whatever I'm having to eat or drink, as Saints have just put 50 past Leeds, and I feel Callum's pain.
Yeah, see you later, guys.
Goodbye.